Life leaves scars, not just on your body, but deep in your soul. And these scars, they aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that you've survived battles others never even knew about. Scars tell stories that words often can't. They remind us of the storms we've weathered, the nights we cried in silence, and the strength we found when we thought we had none left. Each mark, whether visible or hidden, holds a lesson, a reminder of what it means to be human. But let me ask you this. Have you ever stopped to think about how these experiences shape who you are? How the wounds of yesterday become the wisdom of today? If you've ever felt like your struggles define you or weigh you down, then this video is for you. In today's journey together, I'll take you through 7 truths about pain and healing that will change the way you see yourself and the challenges you faced. These aren't just random thoughts. They're lessons carved into the lives of those who've endured and grown stronger. We'll talk about why your scars matter, how your pain shapes your empathy, and why it's okay to feel broken sometimes. But we'll also explore how to rebuild, how to trust again, and most importantly, how to use your experiences to create a life filled with strength and meaning. This isn't just a video about struggle. It's about rediscovering your power, embracing your flaws, and realizing that you're so much more than the pain you've been through. So whether you're watching this on a quiet evening or scrolling through after a long day, stay with me. I promise, by the end of this video, you'll see yourself in a whole new light. And before we dive deep into these 7 truths, let me ask for just one small favor. If this message resonates with you, if it inspires or helps you in any way, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because together, we're not just building a channel, we're building a community where stories like yours and mine matter. Let's begin. 1. Scars tell stories, a Stoic perspective. Life doesn't leave anyone untouched. As we journey through it, we carry marks, visible or hidden, etched into our bodies and souls. These scars are much more than reminders of past pain. They are living proof of survival, resilience, and transformation. Stoicism, one of history's most profound philosophies, offers a lens to view these marks not as flaws, but as evidence of the human spirit enduring, growing, and thriving. Every scar has a story. Perhaps it's the story of a childhood mistake, an emotional wound caused by loss, or a challenge that pushed you to your limits. These scars stand as silent witnesses to moments that tested you, taught you, and ultimately shaped you. In the Stoic way of thinking, these stories aren't sources of shame, they're reasons to stand taller. After all, they signify not just the battles fought, but the lessons learned and the person you've become as a result. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Your scars are a reflection of that strength. They show that you didn't crumble when life threw its hardest punches. Instead, you adapted, endured, and emerged stronger. To the Stoic, adversity isn't something to fear. It's an opportunity to grow. Scars, then, are not imperfections, but evidence of resilience, reminders of the fortitude required to keep moving forward. Society often pushes us to hide our imperfections. A flawless exterior is valued over authenticity. But the Stoics rejected this shallow notion. They believed in embracing reality in all its forms, including the trials and tribulations that leave marks on us. These scars aren't just personal stories, they're universal. Everyone carries them, even if some choose to hide them. By accepting and showing yours, you honor not just your journey, but the shared human experience of struggle and growth. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike, though forceful and seemingly harsh, is essential in creating the masterpiece. Your life's challenges are the sculptor's strikes, and your scars are the marks that make your masterpiece unique. Without these experiences, without these strikes, you wouldn't be the person you are today. Stoicism also teaches us to shift our perspective, to see things not as burdens, but as gifts. That scar from heartbreak, it taught you self-reliance. The scar from failure, it gave you humility and determination. The scar from loss, it deepened your understanding of life's fleeting nature. These are lessons you wouldn't trade for anything, and they came at a price. A scar that now serves as a symbol of wisdom. In the spirit of Stoicism, let's not forget the power of gratitude. It's easy to resent the events that left scars, but gratitude transforms our view. Be grateful for the growth, the insight, and the strength that came from those difficult times. Without them, your journey would be incomplete. Your scars are like milestones on the road of life, marking the places where you learned something profound, overcame something impossible, or simply endured when it felt unbearable. The Japanese art of kintsugi beautifully mirrors this Stoic philosophy. When pottery breaks, it's repaired using gold, emphasizing the cracks rather than hiding them. The repaired piece becomes more beautiful and valuable precisely because of its imperfections. Your scars, much like kintsugi, add to your story, making you more complete, not less. They turn what could be seen as damage into something uniquely beautiful. It's also important to remember that your scars connect you to others. By sharing your stories of struggle, you create bonds with those who are also fighting their own battles. This shared humanity is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the interconnectedness of all people. When you embrace your scars, you not only validate your own journey, but also give others the courage to embrace theirs. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "Difficulties show a person's character." Your scars, then, are the proof of your character. They tell the world that you are someone who faced challenges head-on and refused to give up. They tell you, every time you see them, that you are capable of enduring more than you thought possible. Scars don't demand pity, they demand respect. They are reminders that you are a work in progress, and that progress requires effort, mistakes, and setbacks. They show that you've taken the Stoic path, not running away from life's difficulties, but facing them with courage and reason. When you look at your scars, see them for what they truly are. Symbols of your strength, proof of your resilience, and markers of the lessons that have shaped your journey. You're not the same person who earned those scars. You're better, wiser, and stronger because of them. And that, in itself, is something to be proud of. 2. Feeling too much can hurt. Suffering changes us. It doesn't just leave marks on our hearts, it shapes how we view the world. When you've been through pain, loss, or hardship, you develop a deep sensitivity to the struggles of others. It's almost as if their pain mirrors your own, and you can't help but feel it deeply. This heightened empathy is a gift, but it can also feel like a heavy weight. You see someone cry, and you're reminded of your own tears. You hear about someone's loss, and your heart aches as though it were your loss too. This connection to others' emotions is powerful, but it can become overwhelming. When you feel too much, you might find yourself emotionally drained, unable to focus on your own needs or challenges. The Stoics, however, taught us to manage this flood of emotions with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't a call to ignore emotions, but rather an invitation to take control of how you respond to them. Feeling deeply is human, but letting those feelings consume you can be destructive. Think of it this way. If you're constantly pouring out your energy to help others without stopping to refill your own reserves, you'll soon run dry. Caring for others doesn't mean abandoning yourself. Stoicism teaches us the art of balance, of giving without losing. It's okay to take a step back when you need to. It's okay to say, "I need to care for myself first." There's no shame in protecting your own peace. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you understand that you can't give your best to others when you're running on empty. Imagine a bridge that holds too much weight. It starts to crack and weaken. Similarly, if you take on everyone's pain without pause, you'll begin to break down. Stoicism encourages us to observe our emotions rather than be ruled by them. Picture your feelings like waves in the ocean. Instead of being swept away, stand firm and watch them rise and fall. When you learn to detach, you gain clarity. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care with strength and purpose, not exhaustion. Remember, even the most giving person must sometimes retreat and recharge. A doctor can't heal others if they themselves are unwell. An artist can't create if they are burned out. And you can't be there for others if you've neglected your own needs. So, when the world feels heavy and your heart feels full, take a moment to breathe, step back, reflect. Ask yourself, am I taking care of myself too? The answer matters because your well-being is the foundation of your ability to help others. It's also important to remind yourself that you can't fix everything. Some pain isn't yours to solve, and some battles aren't yours to fight. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control. You can offer kindness, lend a helping hand, or be a shoulder to cry on, but you must also accept that not every problem has a solution. Empathy is a beautiful thing, but only when it's balanced with self-awareness. Let your heart remain open, but not so open that it becomes fragile. As the Stoics would say, approach emotions with reason. Let them flow, but don't let them overwhelm you. And remember, your ability to care for others is strongest when you also care for yourself. You are like a candle. Your light can brighten someone's darkest moments, but only if the flame remains steady. Protect that flame, and you'll find that your strength, wisdom, and compassion will shine even brighter. Number 3, doing everything alone. There are times in life when we feel let down by others. People we trust, those we depend on, sometimes fail us in ways that shake our belief in relationships. When this happens, we may decide that it's better to handle everything on our own. It feels safer, right? If we rely on no one, then no one can disappoint us. This way, we protect ourselves from the sting of betrayal or failure. However, as the days pass, we begin to feel the loneliness that comes with this decision. It may feel like you're carrying the world on your shoulders alone, without anyone by your side. The Stoic philosophers, particularly Marcus Aurelius, taught that life's challenges are a matter of perspective. He wrote in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This reminder speaks to the Stoic approach to self-reliance. Stoicism does not demand that we isolate ourselves, but it teaches us that true strength comes from within. When you're faced with difficulty, it's essential to remember that your inner character is what carries you through, not your reliance on others. But there's another side to this. While Stoicism encourages self-reliance and inner strength, it also emphasizes the importance of community and connections with others. In fact, Marcus Aurelius once said, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees." This reflects the Stoic belief that we are all interconnected. While it is essential to be independent and responsible for our own actions, Stoicism doesn't suggest we live in complete isolation. Human connection is vital to our well-being. When you've been let down, it's easy to become wary of trusting others again. It feels safer to be alone, to avoid vulnerability. But the Stoics urge us to reflect on the nature of relationships. Epictetus, another famous Stoic philosopher, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This quote reminds us that healthy relationships are built on understanding, empathy, and active listening. While it might be tempting to avoid others out of fear of being let down, trust is essential for growth. You can't build deep, meaningful connections if you're closed off to the possibility of trusting others again. It's a fine balance, learning to protect yourself from harm while remaining open enough to allow others in. The process of healing and finding balance after feeling abandoned or disappointed requires patience. It's important to take time to rebuild trust, but also to recognize that not all people are the same. Not everyone will let you down. In fact, many people want to support and help you. They may just not know how. The Stoics believed in virtue as the foundation of life. They were firm in their belief that our happiness does not depend on external circumstances, including other people. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This means that how you respond to others, their actions, whether good or bad, is within your control. In other words, the actions of others may hurt you, but how you choose to react is up to you. If you choose to harbor anger and distrust, that will only harm your peace. If you choose to forgive and accept that not everyone is perfect, you open the door to healthier relationships. Trusting others again after being hurt requires vulnerability, and this vulnerability is where real growth lies. The Stoics didn't shy away from challenges, and they certainly didn't advocate for avoiding discomfort. Instead, they encouraged us to face our fears head-on. Marcus Aurelius advised, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. To think, to enjoy, to love." This perspective is about appreciating the beauty of human connection, even when it's risky. Yes, trusting others again can be difficult, but it is also a key part of living a full and meaningful life. Being independent doesn't mean being isolated. It means being able to stand firm on your own 2 feet, but also recognizing when it's time to open up to others. Stoicism teaches us to find the balance between relying on ourselves and allowing others to play their part in our lives. You have the strength to face difficulties on your own, but that doesn't mean you should shut out the support of those who care about you. As you navigate the journey of rebuilding trust, remember that the Stoic ideal is not to be invulnerable or cold-hearted. It's about understanding that life is full of uncertainty, and while people may disappoint you, you can choose how to respond to those disappointments. Through reflection, patience, and a balance of independence and trust, you can rise above the past hurts and find peace once again. So, while doing everything alone may feel like the safest option at times, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Balance is the key. Learn to rely on your inner strength, but also be open to the possibility of connection and trust. In the end, the goal is not to isolate yourself in self-sufficiency, but to live a life of virtue, with others beside you on the journey. Before trying to be perfect, we all know the feeling, the pressure to be perfect. Whether it's at school, work, or in relationships, there's often an invisible standard we strive to meet. We push ourselves to do everything perfectly, thinking that if we can achieve this level of excellence, we'll protect ourselves from failure and judgment. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't real. It's an ideal, a constant pursuit that keeps us chasing something that's never fully attainable. Stoicism, however, offers a different perspective. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations advised, "Don't waste time on what you can't control." Chasing perfection is a perfect example of something we can't control. You can do your best, but perfection? That's a standard that will constantly shift, leaving you frustrated and exhausted. When we set our sights on perfection, we forget one of the most important Stoic lessons. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the effort we put in and the virtue we demonstrate along the way. In life, there will always be things you can't control. There will always be mistakes, setbacks, and imperfections. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our control, the effort, the mindset, and the decisions we make, not the external results. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a core Stoic belief. Our response to challenges is more important than the challenges themselves. By setting unattainable standards, we place unnecessary pressure on ourselves, often leading to burnout and anxiety. We believe that if we don't meet the impossible standard of perfection, we've failed. But Stoicism teaches us that failure isn't about not being perfect. It's about not making the effort or failing to learn from our mistakes. The constant pursuit of perfection can be exhausting. When you're always striving for the perfect result, every setback feels like a massive failure. It's easy to burn out trying to keep everything in balance, whether it's perfect grades, the perfect job, or the perfect image of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius understood the futility of such pressures. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Instead of viewing imperfections and failures as obstacles, we should see them as opportunities to grow. Every mistake, every flaw is a stepping stone to improvement. Perfection, in the Stoic sense, isn't about avoiding failure but about how we respond to it and use it to better ourselves. When we let go of the need to be perfect, we find freedom. It's liberating to understand that doing our best and accepting that it's enough is more than sufficient. As a Stoic, your aim isn't to be flawless, but to be virtuous in all your actions. Virtue in Stoic terms means living with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Perfection may never come, but practicing these virtues consistently will lead to a life of meaning and fulfillment. In modern society, the pressure to be perfect is everywhere. Social media bombards us with images of ideal lifestyles, perfect relationships, flawless appearances. We see people achieving great things, and it can feel like we're falling short. But comparing ourselves to these idealized versions of others only leads to frustration and disappointment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that what is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees. This means that we should focus on what is best for our well-being, not what others expect of us or what society deems perfect. When we shift our focus from chasing an impossible ideal to living with integrity and doing our best, we free ourselves from the anxiety of perfection. Perfection also leads to a fear of failure. When you set the bar too high, failure becomes a terrifying prospect. But Stoicism teaches us that failure is not something to fear. It's part of life's journey. The greatest wealth is to live content with little, said Epictetus. This doesn't mean we shouldn't aim for success or strive to improve, but rather that we should aim for balance. Perfection can make us feel like anything less than the best is a failure. But in reality, striving for constant improvement is a success in itself. In Stoic practice, the emphasis is on resilience and acceptance. By letting go of the pursuit of perfection, we are better able to accept what is, focus on our growth, and approach challenges with calm and clarity. By focusing on progress rather than perfection, we create a more peaceful existence. It's not about being perfect, but about becoming better with every step we take. It's okay to be good enough. In fact, embracing the idea that we don't have to be perfect can actually lead to greater success. It reduces stress, increases productivity, and allows us to appreciate the process of growth. Perfection is not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away, said Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, a sentiment that aligns with Stoic thinking. Instead of trying to perfect everything, sometimes it's better to simplify. Let go of unnecessary expectations and focus on what truly matters. By doing so, you cultivate a life that is richer, more meaningful, and far less stressful. 5. Hiding your feelings. When life has hurt us, it's natural to build walls. These walls are meant to protect us from pain, to shield us from the hurt we've experienced before. After a heartbreak, a betrayal, or a painful loss, we become cautious. We close ourselves off, thinking that if we hide our feelings, we won't get hurt again. However, what we often don't realize is that these same walls we build to protect our hearts also prevent love, joy, and happiness from entering. We think we're protecting ourselves, but in doing so, we miss out on the very things that make life worth living. Stoicism offers a different way to approach our emotions. The Stoics teach us to control our reactions, but not to suppress our feelings entirely. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." While he encourages us to manage our emotional responses, he doesn't suggest that we hide or ignore our feelings. Instead, he advocates for understanding them, processing them, and using them to grow. Hiding your feelings might seem like a safe option, but it actually prevents you from truly living a fulfilling life. To be truly free, you must face your emotions and learn from them. When we hide our feelings, we're essentially running away from our own experiences. We think that by avoiding pain, we avoid suffering. But the Stoics remind us that suffering is an unavoidable part of life. It's not about avoiding it, but how we respond to it. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Our reactions to pain and loss shape who we are. If we keep hiding our emotions, we may never learn to cope with the pain in a healthy way. Instead of confronting our emotions, we simply bury them, which can lead to more suffering in the long run. The walls we build around ourselves might seem like they offer security, but they also isolate us from the things that can bring us joy. Love, connection, and true happiness require vulnerability. If you choose to shut yourself off, you risk missing out on the love and support that others can offer. In Stoicism, one of the key virtues is wisdom. Wisdom to know when to open up, when to trust, and when to protect yourself. The greatest wealth is to live content with little, Epictetus also said. This doesn't mean living without love or connection. It means finding contentment in the present moment, trusting that it's okay to experience joy without fear of it being taken away. Opening up to others doesn't mean you have to expose all of your vulnerabilities at once. Trusting others is a gradual process. You don't have to share everything immediately, but you can start by letting the right people in, little by little. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be mindful of whom we allow into our lives. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, let your actions guide you, and trust that when you act with integrity, you will attract those who are worthy of your trust. There's wisdom in knowing that not everyone deserves to be let in, but that doesn't mean you should close yourself off entirely. Hiding your feelings may protect you temporarily, but it won't lead to lasting peace. The Stoics teach that peace comes not from avoidance, but from acceptance. We must accept that life will bring us both joy and pain. This acceptance is liberating because it frees us from the fear of being hurt again. Once you let go of the fear of pain, you'll find that it becomes easier to embrace love and happiness without holding back. Letting the right people in doesn't mean being reckless with your heart. It means trusting yourself enough to know when to open up and when to protect yourself. The Stoics believe that our most valuable asset is our inner peace, and we must guard it carefully. He who is brave is free, Seneca once said. This bravery isn't just about facing external challenges. It's also about being brave enough to open up to others, to allow them into your life and share in your experiences. To truly live a fulfilling life, we must learn to let others in. Trusting the right people and allowing them to share in our joys and struggles is essential to creating meaningful connections. We can't live in isolation forever. As you grow, you'll learn who to trust and when to be vulnerable. This doesn't mean putting your heart at risk with everyone you meet, but learning to discern who deserves your trust. In the end, opening up will not only enrich your relationships, but will also help you grow as a person, allowing you to experience life in its full depth. Hiding your feelings might protect you for a time, but it also holds you back from experiencing the full range of human connection. The Stoic path encourages us to accept life's challenges with a clear mind, to open ourselves up to the world without fear, and to trust in the wisdom we gain through our experiences. Remember, it's okay to feel, to trust, and to be vulnerable. These are the qualities that make us truly human. Number 6, controlling everything. When life feels chaotic and unpredictable, it's natural to want to take control. We think that if we manage every little detail, we'll be able to handle the uncertainty around us. The truth is, though, that trying to control everything can make us feel even more stuck. The more we attempt to control, the more we risk becoming overwhelmed by the pressure. Instead of finding peace, we may end up creating more stress for ourselves. The Stoic philosophers have much to say about this feeling of needing control and how letting go can actually lead to greater freedom. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we don't control everything around us, but we do control our reactions. He says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote is a perfect example of Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that while we can't control the events that happen to us, we can control how we respond to them. Trying to control every situation is a recipe for frustration. Instead of forcing the world to bend to our will, the Stoics encourage us to focus on our reactions, thoughts, and attitudes. These are the things we can control. When we try to control everything, we also lose sight of what really matters. It's easy to become so focused on managing every detail that we forget to step back and look at the bigger picture. Life is constantly changing, and there will always be things beyond our control. Trying to keep a tight grip on everything can prevent us from experiencing the flow of life, making us feel trapped in a constant struggle. The Stoics remind us that we must accept the natural course of events. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This idea teaches us that instead of fighting against the uncontrollable, we should accept it and focus on how we can respond wisely and calmly. One of the most important lessons the Stoics teach is the importance of letting go. When we try to control everything, we limit our freedom. It's like holding on to something so tightly that it becomes painful. But when we release that grip, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress. The Stoics tell us to focus on what's within our power and let go of the rest. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius also states, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that everything happens for a reason, and what may seem out of our control is actually part of the natural order. By accepting the things we cannot change, we can find peace and move forward with less resistance. The Stoics encourage us to let go of this fear by practicing detachment. Detachment doesn't mean we stop caring about things. It means we stop being ruled by our need to control them. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This means that our fear of things going wrong is often worse than the reality itself. By letting go of our need to control everything, we free ourselves from unnecessary anxiety. Letting go also opens the door to growth. When we accept that we can't control everything, we make room for other, more positive actions. Instead of using our energy to control, we can use it to adapt and respond in a way that aligns with our values. The Stoic practice of mindfulness helps us stay present in the moment, letting go of the need to predict or control the future. When we let go of the illusion of control, we start to see the world as it really is, not as we wish it to be. And from that clarity, we can act with purpose. In life, there will always be forces beyond our control. Other people's actions, the weather, economic conditions, and more. But by trying to control everything, we lose our own peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Life is a series of struggles and adjustments, not a perfectly choreographed dance. Embracing life's challenges as part of our journey allows us to grow stronger and more resilient, not by controlling everything, but by accepting and responding wisely to what comes our way. The more we let go of the need to control, the more space we create for serenity, freedom, and personal growth. When we stop trying to force things into our will, we start to flow with life instead of against it. The Stoic approach isn't about passivity or indifference. It's about knowing what we can control and what we can't. By focusing on what is within our control, our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes, we create a life that is truly under our command. 7. Healing takes time. Life often leaves us with wounds, both physical and emotional, that we carry with us. Sometimes these wounds are so deep that we build up armor to protect ourselves from further pain. This armor, made of walls and defenses, may feel safe, but over time, it becomes heavier and harder to bear. The Stoics recognize that while we cannot avoid suffering, we do have the power to choose how we respond to it. And part of that response is allowing ourselves the time and space to heal. Healing takes time, and the Stoics believe that this process of healing is one of growth, strength, and understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote highlights how challenges, suffering, and pain are not just obstacles, but opportunities for growth. We all face hardship in life, but instead of viewing them as roadblocks, Stoicism encourages us to see them as stepping stones for personal development. Healing from any wound, whether physical or emotional, is part of this growth process. It's important to understand that healing is not an instant process. Just as a broken bone takes time to mend, emotional wounds also need time to heal. Trying to rush through the pain or pretending it doesn't exist only delays the healing process. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience and endurance. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius says, "Time is a river of passing events. It is no longer the same, and you are no longer the same." Time, though often a difficult and painful journey, is essential for healing. It allows us to process what we've been through, to reflect on our experiences, and ultimately to emerge stronger. When we are hurt, the natural response is to protect ourselves. We build armor, shields, and barriers to keep from feeling the pain again. This is understandable, but as time passes, this armor becomes a burden. It may have once been useful in shielding us from harm, but it now weighs us down and prevents us from moving forward. The Stoic approach teaches us that in order to heal, we must let go of this armor. It is only by allowing ourselves to feel again that we can truly heal. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Healing involves confronting the emotions we have avoided and allowing ourselves to face them, no matter how difficult it may be. Letting go of this armor doesn't mean exposing ourselves to further harm. Rather, it's about finding the strength to accept our vulnerability and allowing time to do its work. Stoicism teaches us that vulnerability, in its truest form, is a sign of strength, not weakness. By confronting our wounds and letting go of the defenses we've built, we make room for personal growth. This is why healing isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming better, stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Healing takes time, and time requires patience. It's easy to want to move past the pain quickly, but Stoic wisdom teaches us that true healing can't be rushed. Every small step forward, every moment of acceptance is part of the process. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of this in Meditations when he says, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In the context of healing, this quote encourages us to resist the urge to react to pain with more pain. Instead of lashing out or burying our feelings, we must take the time to heal and become better than we were before. Healing allows us to forgive, to let go of grudges, and to move forward with peace in our hearts. In the same way that the Stoics practiced reflection and mindfulness to understand their emotions, we can learn to reflect on our own pain and suffering. When we allow ourselves to feel, to sit with our emotions, we give ourselves the chance to process and learn from them. Epictetus says, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This is a reminder that while healing takes time, we must also use that time wisely by reflecting, learning, and growing stronger with each passing day. Healing isn't a linear journey. Some days will feel better, while others may feel like setbacks. But just as the Stoics encouraged perseverance in all aspects of life, they also urged us to persevere through the healing process. Every step, no matter how small, is progress. Even the days that feel like setbacks are part of the journey. Marcus Aurelius advises, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we face setbacks during our healing, it's crucial to remember that our response is what matters most. We can choose to be patient and compassionate with ourselves as we heal. Eventually, as time passes and we continue to make small steps forward, the armor we once wore to protect ourselves becomes lighter. We no longer need to carry it because we've learned how to heal. In Stoic philosophy, this is the idea of amor fati, or the love of fate. It's the understanding that everything we experience, even the painful moments, is an opportunity for growth. As Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher often associated with Stoicism, said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Every painful experience, every emotional wound, has the potential to make us stronger if we allow ourselves the time to heal and grow. Healing takes time, patience, and acceptance. The Stoics teach us that by letting go of our defenses and allowing ourselves to feel again, we can heal and become stronger than before. Through patience and reflection, we can turn our suffering into a source of strength and wisdom. Just as Marcus Aurelius advised, don't be afraid of being weak. Be afraid of being strong enough to endure what life throws at you. By accepting our vulnerabilities and allowing time to heal our wounds, we become stronger, more resilient individuals. Healing may take time, but every step forward makes us stronger and more capable of facing whatever challenges come our way. In the end, remember that healing takes time, and it's okay to embrace the process. Letting go of your armor, feeling deeply, and allowing yourself to heal are steps toward becoming stronger and more resilient. Embrace your journey, knowing that every challenge you face adds to your growth. Thank you to everyone who watched till the very end. Your support means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and stay with us for more insightful content. Stay strong, stay stoic.